Built by hand and flown with nerves, these aren't factory planes. They're garage-born, wrench-raised, and sky-tested. Tiny planes like the Kolb Firefly, Whisperlight and Backyard Ready, or the pint-sized Skybaby, bold enough to take center stage at any air show. These are stories of sky-high dreams and high-altitude thrills. But if you could fly in one of these, which would you pick? Join us to select your favorite from the 13 smallest homemade planes in the world. Number 13. SpaceX SD Minisport. Imagine flying a plane that feels like your personal escape pod, compact, nimble, and built purely for the joy of flight. The SpaceX SD1 Minisport is exactly that, a lightweight, single-seat aircraft that's all about the experience and the thrill of flying. Designed by Czech aviation enthusiast Igor Spacek, the SD1 is a minimalist marvel. It's like the motorcycle of the skies, light, agile, and full of fun. Built mostly from wood with some composite reinforcements, it has a low-wing design, a sleek T-tail, and an enclosed cockpit that makes you feel like you're becoming one with the machine. But this plane isn't just about looks, it's a performer. With a wingspan of about 6 meters and a wing area of 6 square meters, it features flaperons, which combine flaps and ailerons for smoother, more responsive control. Depending on the engine you choose, ranging from 24 to 50 horsepower, the SD1 can comfortably cruise between 130 and 170 kilometers per hour. It also has a 35-liter fuel tank, giving you a range of about 600 kilometers, perfect for those spontaneous weekend getaways or short adventures. What's really cool about the SD1 is its versatility. It fits into various ultralight and microlight categories, including Germany's 120-kilogram class and the UK's single-seat deregulated regulations. Whether you want to build it yourself from a set of plans, assemble it from a kit, or buy a fully built aircraft, the SD1 is accessible to many aviation enthusiasts. In the United States, the SD1 caught the eye of Skycraft Airplanes, which began production in 2013. They aim to offer it as a ready-to-fly light sport aircraft, complete with enhancements like a Dynon Skyview instrument panel and a 50-horsepower Hirth F23 engine. While flight testing was completed by May 2014, the aircraft hadn't received FAA approval by 2017, and Skycraft ceased operations that same year. By 2015, around 113 SD1 Minisports had been sold worldwide, with about 41 still in operation. While there have been some accidents, including a fatal crash in the United States in 2013 and another in Germany in 2018, the SD1 remains a beloved choice among aviation enthusiasts. Number 12. Airbike Ultralite. What if flying wasn't about sitting in a cockpit, but more like cruising on 2 wheels with the sky as your highway? That's the Airbike Ultralite, more like a 2-wheeled adventure than a typical aircraft. First introduced in the mid-1990s by Wayne Eisen, the Airbike was built to bring the thrill of motorcycling into the skies. With its narrow fuselage and open cockpit, pilots feel an unbeatable sense of freedom, turning every flight into an exhilarating journey. While newer aircraft have come along since, the Airbike is still a classic favorite for aviation enthusiasts. Under the hood, the Airbike is powered by a 40-horsepower Hirth engine, connected to a 62-inch power fin propeller through a 2.29-to-1 reduction gear. This setup provides plenty of thrust for its lightweight frame, which weighs in at about 315 pounds empty and 560 pounds gross. With a 10-gallon fuel capacity, it offers a range of around 170 miles, perfect for short, scenic flights. Flying the Airbike is often compared to a long road trip on a motorcycle, thrilling, immersive, and a bit of a challenge. It's great for shorter flights, but longer trips, especially on windy days, can be a bit more demanding. Still, the one-of-a-kind flying experience keeps pilots coming back for more. Though new kits aren't available anymore, the Airbike's legacy continues, thanks to a passionate community of builders and pilots who keep this unique aircraft alive. Number 11. Open Sky M02J. Have you ever imagined watching your favorite anime and dreaming of soaring through the skies just like the characters on screen? Well, for Japanese artist Kazuhiko Hachiya, that dream became reality with the creation of the Open Sky M02J, a jet-powered glider inspired by the Moe aircraft from Hayao Miyazaki's Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. This unique tailless glider is designed for a quick powered ascent, followed by a peaceful, unpowered glide. Hachiya built 2 prototypes, with one completing 10 test flights, reaching an altitude of 4 meters and covering 98 meters in total. These flights began with a tow cable launch, a nod to traditional glider methods. Teaming up with aeronautical engineer Toto Ueno, Hachiya's first glider, launched by bungee cord, took to the skies in 2006. By 2013, they had added a jet engine and carried out high-speed taxi tests, overcoming various technical challenges. For the engine, they chose a Nike jet engine from AMT Netherlands, producing 176 pounds of thrust, typically used in target drones. Hachiya himself has completed over 150 jump flights and 70 circling flights, often reaching altitudes close to 500 feet. He believes the M02J could fly even higher if only airspace restrictions weren't so strict. As the sole pilot of the Open Sky M02J, Hachiya continues to showcase his creation at air shows, where he teaches audiences about its unique controls, including a wing warping control system for roll and a weight-shifting mechanism for pitch. Number 10. Nissus Gyroplane. Born from a marriage of aerospace-grade engineering and high-end design, the Nissus Gyroplane delivers the kind of skybound experience that used to live only in futuristic films. Picture yourself settling into a cockpit with panoramic views, where the controls feel so natural that flying becomes effortless. The Nissus Gyroplane is built for agility, with the ability to take off and land in short distances, ideal for both bustling urban areas and open fields. Its strong chrome molybdenum steel frame, reinforced with a carbon Kevlar hybrid, ensures top-notch safety without adding excess weight. The double rudders boost maneuverability, allowing for smoother, more controlled landings. When it comes to performance, the Nissus doesn't fall short. It cruises comfortably between 70 and 86 knots, reaching a top speed of 105 knots. With a fuel capacity of 24 United States gallons, it offers longer flight times, and with a payload capacity of 705 pounds, it's versatile enough for various tasks. The Nissus Gyroplane comes in 3 different editions, each tailored to different needs. The Sport Edition is powered by a 135 horsepower Rotax 912 ULS Plus T engine, offering a solid balance of performance and efficiency. The Comfort Edition steps up to a 141 horsepower Rotax 915 IS engine, adding even more performance and features like a lockable box and smoked plexiglass for added luxury. For those chasing peak performance, the Platinum Edition offers a 160 horsepower Rotax 916 IS engine, along with a Nissus 8.4-inch display and safety upgrades like a fire extinguisher and transponder. Whether you're an aviation enthusiast or a professional pilot, the Nissus Gyroplane offers an exciting look into the future of flight. Number 9. Kolb Firefly. It's not every day you find a flying machine that feels like a hammock with wings, but the Kolb Firefly pulls it off, blending featherlight engineering with wide-open sky vibes. This ultralight single-seat aircraft is the aviation equivalent of a mountain bike for the sky. Lightweight, nimble, and built for pure, wind-in-your-face fun. First introduced in the mid-1990s, the Firefly was crafted with one clear mission: to meet the strict FAR Part 1 06 ultralight regulations without compromising on performance. That meant keeping the empty weight under 254 pounds, which it pulls off with clever engineering and no wasted bulk. Think of it like packing only the essentials for a weekend hike. You've got everything you need and nothing you don't. With its high-wing, open cockpit layout, flying the Firefly feels like gliding through the sky in a flying lawn chair, in the best way possible. The views? Absolutely panoramic. The vibes? Totally immersive. And thanks to the pusher-style engine mounted behind you, the usual engine roar is swapped out for a quieter, more peaceful cruising experience. It's the kind of aircraft that lets you feel the sky, not just fly through it. Now let's talk build. The Firefly's forward fuselage is made from tough-as-nails 4130 chrome moly steel tubing, basically the same kind of material you'd find in high-performance race car frames. The tail boom and wings? Lightweight aluminum wrapped in doped fabric, giving you the strength you need without tipping the scales. Oh, and the folding wings? Total game changer. You can pack this bird up like you're stowing away a pop-up tent, perfect for trailering or garage storage. Under the hood, or technically behind the seat, it's powered by a 40-horsepower Rotax 447 engine. That's more than enough muscle to push it to speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, with a comfy cruising speed around 60. It climbs like a champ at 1,000 feet per minute and stalls as gently as 26 miles per hour. Translation: you get plenty of thrill without sacrificing safety, whether you're a greenhorn or a seasoned aviator. And for all the DIY dreamers out there, yes, the Firefly comes in kit form. You can build it yourself, customize it to your liking, and really make it your own. Want a full cockpit enclosure for chillier flights? Check. Brakes for better control? Yes. Even a ballistic recovery system for peace of mind? Absolutely. There's also a quick build option if you're more about flying than fiddling with parts. Number 8. The Breezy RLU1. If freedom had wings, it might look like the Breezy RLU1. Built for the kind of flights that feel like daydreams, this open-air wonder lets you cruise the clouds with your feet practically dangling off the edge. The Breezy, also known as the RLU1, is a home-built aircraft that ditches the traditional cockpit and gives you a full-on, open-air flying experience like nothing else out there. You and your passenger get a completely unobstructed 360-degree view, turning every single flight into an unforgettable adventure. The Breezy was the brainchild of 3 aviation enthusiasts, Charles Roloff, Robert Liofsky, and Carl Unger, who first got this beauty off the ground on August 7, 1964. The original version used modified wings from a Piper PA-12, but later builds have gotten creative with wings from other planes like the Cessna 172. Builders kind of made it their own, and that's part of the Breezy's charm. One of the coolest things about it? The high-wing pusher configuration. What this means is that the engine sits behind the seats and pushes the aircraft forward, instead of pulling it like most planes do. This setup gives the Breezy surprisingly smooth takeoffs and stable climbs. No fancy tech needed. Now, let's be real. It's not built for speed. But what it lacks in top-end velocity, it more than makes up for in pure flying joy. It's super straightforward, hands-on, and gives you that feeling of being part of the sky, not just in it. Carl Unger, one of the original designers, was basically the Breezy's biggest ambassador. He flew thousands of passengers in his prototype, offering free rides just to share the experience. For so many people, their first flight ever was in a Breezy, with Carl at the controls and nothing but blue sky above. The aircraft earned such a following that in 2014, it was added to the EAA AirVenture Museum's collection. That same year, it hit the Big 5-0, celebrating its 50th anniversary with special events and a massive fly-in at EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. And get this, there's even a version called the DAW Breezy that can land on water thanks to its amphibious floats. With a 90-horsepower engine, the Breezy can cruise up to 120 nautical miles, making it perfect for short scenic flights or just chasing sunsets. Its lightweight frame and open seating setup have made it a favorite among aviation lovers who just want to feel the thrill of flying, raw and real. People who've owned and flown a Breezy swear by its reliability. Over the years, it's needed only minor tweaks here and there. Number 7. Bead BD5 Micro. Ever dreamt of flying your own mini fighter jet? Meet the Bead BD5 Micro. A sleek, single-seat aircraft that looks like it was plucked straight out of a James Bond movie. Designed by Jim Bead in the late 1960s and introduced in the early 70s, this tiny plane was primarily sold as a kit. Despite the company's financial troubles that limited production to just a few hundred completed units, the BD5 gained a passionate following, especially the jet-powered BD5J variant, which holds the Guinness World Record as the world's smallest jet aircraft, weighing in at just over 358 pounds, lighter than some motorcycles. The BD5's design was inspired by the sleek lines of fighter jets. The semi-reclined pilot position under a large plexiglass canopy, coupled with the engine mounted behind the cockpit to power a pusher propeller, minimizes drag and boosts performance. Depending on whether you choose a 40 or 55 horsepower engine, the BD5 can cruise at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour, with a range of over 1,200 miles. Its fuel efficiency? Around 38 miles per gallon, making it a surprisingly economical little jet. One of the BD5's standout features is its modular design. Builders could choose from different wing configurations, tailoring the flying experience to their preference. The wings and tail were removable, which made for easier storage and transport, making the BD5 not just an aviation wonder, but also a practical option for enthusiasts. The BD5J gained international fame when it appeared in the James Bond film Octopussy, capturing the imagination of audiences worldwide. It's the kind of aircraft that makes you feel like a secret agent, with all the performance and thrill to match. In short, the Bead BD5 Micro is a miniature fighter jet packed with performance, style, and a touch of cinematic magic. Number 6. The Flying Flea. Have you ever heard of the Flying Flea? It's not just a catchy name. It's a quirky little plane that became a piece of aviation history. Designed back in 1934 by French inventor Henri Miniax, this plane was a total game changer. Forget the standard aircraft layout you're used to. The Flying Flea was all about thinking outside the box, or, in this case, the cockpit. Instead of the usual fixed wings, it had a pivoting front wing, 18 feet long, and a smaller fixed rear wing, only 13 feet. But here's the cool part. The Flying Flea didn't have the usual control system. It was all about simplicity. Pilots could steer, pitch, and roll just by making basic movements. It was kind of like riding a bike in the sky, where leaning left or right could send you cruising. In the beginning, these little planes were powered by motorcycle or car engines. Imagine someone just grabbing whatever they had lying around to make their dream of flying come true. Today, though, modern versions of the Flying Flea are powered by engines like Rotax or Citroën, giving them a bit more power under the hood. Henri Miniax, born in 1893, caught the flying bug early. As a teenager, he was already building gliders and drawing inspiration from the aviation pioneers who came before him. After serving in World War I and recovering from malaria, he dove even deeper into his aviation passion. Miniax's early designs? Let's just say they were unconventional. One of his prototypes had wings that rocked side to side instead of using a rudder. He was clearly not afraid to break the rules and try new things. Sure, a few crash landings happened along the way, but Miniax kept improving. By the time the 1930s rolled around, Miniax had a clear goal: create a plane that anyone could fly. Something safe, simple, and, most importantly, not prone to stalling mid-air. And guess what? He nailed it. In 1933, Miniax took the Flying Flea for its first successful flight. But wait, the story doesn't end there. Just a month later, during another test flight, the fuel system failed mid-air. What did Miniax do? He plugged the leak with a wine bottle cork and made it safely back to the ground with the help of some nearby farmhands. Subscriber's pick. Meet an ambitious aviation buff with a wild dream and just enough boldness to pull it off. He didn't just want to fly, he wanted to do it in the smallest working plane ever built. Imagine him, beaming with pride, cruising just feet above the ground in his pint-sized creation. It's less soaring through the skies and more hovering heroically, but hey, it flies. So, what do you think? Brilliant feat or backyard buzz? Let us know in the comments. Number 5. Miniax Aircraft. Think of the Minimax as the Lego set of the skies, except when you're done, it actually flies. Lightweight, wooden, and totally DIY, it's made for builders who want more than just shelf art. Introduced in the mid-1980s, these single-seat planes were created with simplicity, affordability, and fun in mind, offering maximum enjoyment with minimal hassle. Built mainly from wood and plywood, the Minimax is covered with fabric, creating a lightweight yet durable aircraft. Its design is perfect for home builders, allowing for easy assembly with minimal tools and skill. The aircraft's wingspan typically measures 25 feet, with some models like the VMAX and 1600R Eros featuring slightly longer wings at 26.5 feet. The wings and tail are supported by struts for extra stability, and the plane uses conventional landing gear, with optional wheel pants for a sleeker look. Performance-wise, the Minimax is a true delight. Powered by engines ranging from 28 to 50 horsepower, it can reach speeds up to 80 miles per hour, cruising comfortably at 75 miles per hour. With a range of approximately 144 miles, it's perfect for short and enjoyable flights. Over the years, the Minimax has been produced by several companies, starting with Team Incorporated in Tennessee, before moving to Aircraft JDT Minimax, and eventually to Team Minimax LLC in Michigan. One variant, the HiMax, shares many parts with the original Minimax, but boasts a high wing design. Standard specifications for the Minimax include a wingspan of 26 feet and an empty weight of 400 pounds, powered by a 50 horsepower Rotax 503 engine. In essence, the Minimax is more than just an aircraft. It's a gateway to building your very own flying machine, all while having fun along the way. Number 4. Humblebird. Who says building a plane is only for engineers? With the Humblebird, anyone can take the plunge into aviation and craft their own flying machine. Enter the Humblebird, a tiny yet mighty experimental aircraft that perfectly blended practicality and creativity. Designed by Maury Hummel in 1980, this plane was born from one simple goal: to create something durable, efficient, and most importantly, accessible to aviation enthusiasts who dreamed of building their own aircraft. Think of it as a DIY project on steroids, crafted by a pro but designed for the everyday builder. Maury, having a solid background as an engineer during World War II, knew a thing or two about creating aircraft that could withstand some serious forces. The Humblebird doesn't disappoint. Its all-metal construction is a nod to its strength, built to handle up to 6 times the force of gravity. And just to keep things fun, this aircraft is powered by a half-Volkswagen engine. Yes, you heard that right. It's essentially a 4-cylinder Volkswagen engine chopped in half, making it both quirky and efficient. A brilliant mashup of simplicity and performance, just like pairing a basic pizza with extra cheese. Maury didn't stop there. His vision for the Humblebird came to life after he picked up plans for another aircraft, the Windwagon, in 1979. He immediately set to work, adding a protective canopy to shield pilots from the unpredictable Ohio weather. Plus, he made the seat more comfortable, added more legroom for those of us who need extra space, and adjusted the wings for extra strength. Oh, and he switched the landing gear from a tricycle setup to a tail dragger configuration, which makes the plane more stable during takeoff and landing. Kind of like upgrading from a regular bike to a mountain bike when you know you're about to hit some serious terrain. But here's the thing. Building a Humblebird isn't just about slapping parts together, it's an experience. Since it's classified as an experimental aircraft, builders are required to assemble at least 51% of the plane themselves. So, it's like following a really detailed recipe, where the fun part is making it your own. While you'll get the plans from Hummel Aviation, there are also pre-made parts to speed things up. Think of it as buying a kit to build your own model airplane, but this one's fully functional. On average, builders spend about 1,200 hours putting together their Humblebird. It's not exactly a weekend project, but hey, the reward is totally worth it. And while it doesn't qualify as an ultralight aircraft in the United States due to weight and fuel capacity, it still holds the title of a basic ultralight in Canada. A lot of owners have added their own personal touches, like relocating the fuel tank to the wings or swapping out the engine for something like a Rotax 447. Number 3. Tipsy Nipper T66. It started with a grandfather's love and turned into one of the most beloved pocket-sized aerobats to ever touch the skies. The Tipsy Nipper is proof that small wings can still fly high. Now, this plane might be small, but it's got some serious history and a design that blends simplicity with performance. It was created in 1952 by Ernest Oscar Tips, the founder of Avens Ferry in Belgium. Ernest set out to build a plane that was easy to fly, affordable to buy, and cheap to maintain, and that's exactly what he did. The name Nipper came from Ernest's first grandchild, adding a personal touch to this little aircraft's legacy. Its first flight took place on December 12, 1957, and it quickly gained a reputation for being charming and agile. With its open cockpit and sleek design, the Nipper was the perfect example of a lightweight aerobatic plane. At just 4 meters and 56 centimeters in length, with a wingspan of 6 meters, the Nipper's compact frame didn't hold it back. It had a range of 400 kilometers, about 249 miles, which could be extended to 720 kilometers, about 447 miles, if you added extra fuel tanks. Despite its size, it was built tough, with a welded steel tube fuselage and wood and fabric wings and tailplane, weighing only 165 kilograms when empty. Early versions of the Nipper were powered by a 40-horsepower Volkswagen engine, but later models saw upgrades to engines like the Pullman Haipu or Stark Stamo engines. Some of the more recent Nippers even run on an 85-horsepower Jabiru 2200 engine. Between 1959 and 1961, Avens Ferry produced 59 fully assembled Nippers and 78 kits for DIY builders. But in 1962, production came to a halt as the company switched gears to focus on assembling F-104 starfighter jets for the Belgian Air Force. In 1962, Cobavia took over the rights to the Nipper, producing 18 planes and renaming them the Cobavia D-158 Nipper. Sadly, in 1968, a fire destroyed the factory, but home builders could still access the plans and kits. As of 2017, around 19 Nippers were still registered in the United Kingdom, keeping this iconic little aircraft flying and alive in the hearts of aviation enthusiasts. Number 2. Cray MC15 Colomban. If you ever wished planes came in fun size without losing their edge, the Cray MC15 is basically the ultralight marvel you'd get from a genius with a garage and a dream. Designed in the 1970s by French engineer Michel Colomban, this aircraft holds the title of the smallest twin-engine plane in the world. Weighing in at just 172 pounds when empty, the Cray is about as light as it gets. Colomban's vision was simple: make a plane that was easy to build, fly, and store. He wanted something that could be assembled quickly, perform well in the air, and be easy to transport. Powered by 2 small engines, each churning out around 15 horsepower, the Cray is an example of how efficient design can make something truly special. What really sets the Cray apart is its engine placement. Both engines are mounted close together, right near the center of the plane. This setup makes the plane more stable, especially if one engine fails. Even if one cuts out mid-flight, the Cray will still fly smoothly, only banking gently to the side. That means pilots don't need any special qualifications beyond a standard single-engine rating to fly it. The cockpit is housed under a clear bubble canopy, designed not only to give you a great view, but also to help the plane fly smoothly by improving airflow. The whole design is optimized for both performance and simplicity, making it a dream for hobbyists and aviation enthusiasts. Building and storing the Cray is surprisingly easy, too. It's made from aluminum sheets glued to foam, so it's lightweight but sturdy. The plane can be assembled or disassembled in just 5 minutes, making it ideal for anyone with limited space. It's small enough to fit in a garage or be towed behind a car. Despite its size, the Cray is no slouch when it comes to durability. It's rated to handle +10 and -5 times the force of gravity, making it tough enough for aerobatics. The aircraft's first flight was on July 19, 1973, and it quickly earned a reputation for being easy to handle, even for newbie pilots. Takeoffs are a breeze, quick and effortless. But landings? You'll need to pay attention to avoid floating since the plane is so light. Still, its mix of simplicity, clever design, and fun flying capabilities has made the Cracker a favorite among aviation enthusiasts. Number 1. Stizz SA2A, a Skybaby. It looked like a toy, flew like a bullet, and proved that sky-high ambition can fit into a pint-sized package. Back in 1952, a former World War II fighter pilot and all-around mechanical wizard named Ray Stitz decided to take on a wild challenge. Another pilot had claimed it was possible to build the world's smallest manned airplane, and Ray set out to prove it. Working out of Riverside, California, Ray brought the SA2A Skybaby to life. It was a biplane, but way more compact than anything people were used to seeing. To pull it off, Ray used spruce wood wings arranged in a negative stagger, meaning the upper wing actually sat behind the lower one. The body? That was built from welded steel tubing, covered in fabric to keep things super light but still tough enough to fly. Now here's where it gets even cooler. The engine was a modified version of an older one, cranking out 112 horsepower. Not bad for something that looked like it could fit in your garage. For the first test flight in April of 1952, Ray brought in a skilled pilot named Robert H. Starr. Robert didn't just fly the Skybaby, he showed it off at air shows all spring and summer. People were blown away. This tiny little plane could hit 185 miles per hour and pulled off moves that had the crowd cheering. It may have looked like a toy, but it had real power and agility in the sky. That said, it wasn't the easiest thing to fly. The Skybaby's super short body and tight cockpit made things tricky. Pilots had to be sharp. Robert, along with Lester Cole, worked together to keep the plane balanced in the air. It took skill and focus, no autopilot or extra help here. After just 25 hours of flight time, the Skybaby was officially retired in October of 1952. But that wasn't the end of its story. The plane found a permanent home at the National Air and Space Museum at the Stephen F. Udvar Hazy Center in Virginia. Ray Stitz's creation is still celebrated today, not just because it was tiny, but because it represented big thinking. The Skybaby is proof that with determination, creativity, and a little bit of daring, even the smallest idea can take flight. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.